So I'm basically going to be making a wig. I don't know what kind of video this is going to turn into because my family's making so much noise in the background. So I don't want to be talking too much, but I'll show you like the hair and then I'll just put you back on tripod and I'll show you what I'm doing now. So I got 4 bundles from a company in Miami, Florida called Bundles to You. I'll leave her information in the description bar, so her website and her Instagram. I got lengths 24, 22, 20 and 18, and I also got an 18-inch frontal, and the hair is deep wave gold label. So I got this dome cap from the beauty supply store. It was $2.99. The polystyrene head is probably $3.99, and then the extension that connected to the table is from Amazon, and that was $5.99. So I've bleached the knots of this frontal just to make them appear a bit more natural and blend in with my skin tone a bit more. And what I always do is I position the majority of the frontal hanging off the cap. So if you push it too far back, then the wig is going to be very small. So I'm just attaching the edge of the frontal to the edge of the cap, and I will switch it around and show you. So I always double knot things before I cut the thread just to make sure it's extra secure, and I've gone ahead here and secured the other side of the frontal just so that I know that I'm sewing it in the position that I want it to be positioned on the wig cap. And you're just going to sew the perimeter of the back half of the frontal onto the cap, and yeah. And then what I like to do is just tie up the ponytail just so that the hair stays out of the way. So once again, I got these bundles from Bundles to You from their gold label deep curly range, and I always double up my wefts when I sew it on, just so that it has like the thickness that I like at the back. I mean, you can singly sew it on. I just like it thick at the back, and so that the longest layer is not too thin, and I just sew that on. I always go through the actual weft when I do the corners just to make sure it's flat, and as you can see here, I'm just positioning the other side to make sure that I sew it in correctly. And also a good tip is don't actually sew directly through the elasticated band, because that reduces how stretchy the wig cap is. I always sew just above because I normally just sew my own elastic above it. So here you can see that I am not actually going directly through the weft, I am going around it, just because I don't want to make the hair start shedding or like destroy the wefts by actually going through it. I only go through it when I'm doing the sides just to make sure it's flat. So yeah, double up your wefts. I normally do this with the first 2 bundles, and then as I get to the top of my head, which we'll see later, I then start doing it singly because I don't want it to be too bulky. Okay, so here you can see that I've started to single out my track, simply because as I move to the crown of my head, I don't want it to be too bulky. So I've just decided to sew one weft on at a time, and yeah, keep following the shape round. But my first impressions of the hair is that it was so soft, and the owner did say that it's gold label, so the hair is like the rawest version hair, which is amazing. In the video I haven't actually co-washed it yet, I've literally just separated the bundles, but the hair is so soft, like it's just so nice. And normally like really curly hair is like really dry, but this hair has just got like a lot of moisture to it. Okay, as expected, I didn't manage to get all 4 bundles on, so this is only 24, 22 and 20. But as we got closer to like the crown of the wig, as I mentioned before, we have singled out the tracks now just to make sure that it's nice and flat, and it is starting to form like a U shape, which is perfectly normal, and it is a way to keep the hair nice and flat, even though the hair is really bulky. If you did want to do like updos, all of that, it would just be nice and flat. Okay, so at this point we are now at like the highest point of the head, to say, and I've started by sewing the track's not going in the U shape anymore, I've sewed it as close to the end of the frontal as I can, and I'm gonna keep folding it all the way back till I get to the bottom half of the curved U. So however you achieve that is however you achieve it. Just make sure that all of the hair is like flowing in the same direction and that some's not going forward and backwards, if you know what I mean. Just make sure it's all flowing in the same direction. Okay, so now I'm just basically spraying the hair with water. With curly hair, you're not meant to brush it without water or a bit of moisture. It basically acts as like your natural hair, so you wouldn't brush your natural hair without water, and I do tend to always brush from the bottom up. And yeah, it is like revitalizing the curls. I haven't actually like properly washed it, because I know that when you buy new hair you're meant to wash it first to see the real curl pattern, but for the purposes of the video, this is what the raw curl pattern looks like when it is wet. As I expected with this hair, the curl pattern and the hair when it's wet is absolutely beautiful. I didn't actually put any oil in it, but I didn't experience any shedding, which is amazing, which is more than amazing. So as you can tell, this is the finished look. What I did off camera was I bleached the knots and I also plucked it. Fortunately enough, this didn't actually need too much packing, so I didn't do too much. But yeah, this is the finished look. I've currently got it up. That's cute. I love this head just simply because like I wet it this morning, but the curls are just still so defined. But after I spoke to the owner of Bundles to You, which is where I got the hair from, she actually said that leave-in conditioner and just plain water was okay, so that's just what I'm going to be using. Yeah, so I've had this on my head now for 2 nights, and even though it's like really like full and stuff, it's just so light. And then what I do is I get a tiny bit of, this is leave-in conditioner. And I literally use like that for all of the hair because I don't want it to be like too heavy. And I think with this hair, like a little bit of product goes a long way. And it's mainly to seal the ends so that the ends aren't like frizzy. So after I've like distributed that, I will go in with like the final brush and just make sure that you're brushing it downwards so that the curls kind of lock into each other and just make it all nice, and you know, whereas if I would have just gone like this is like frizzy, but this is like neat, if that makes sense. Let me show you a bit better. So this is like roughly brushed, so the ends are kind of like flying everywhere, whereas this is just neat. So I don't know if you can see the difference there. But yeah, I just like to brush it in a downward motion, like basically pulling the curls until it's straight and then let go, and then they'll bounce back up. And yeah, that is that side done. This is the finished look. So yeah, as you can see, it's nicely moisturised. It's still like a tiny bit wet, but obviously because I just like sprayed it, it does dry very quickly. But I'll show you what the back looks like. So this is basically the finished look. Shout out to Bundles to You for providing me these great bundles. She's a Miami-based vendor, but she does ship worldwide, and her prices are very, very reasonable. And if I do say so myself, the hair is amazing. And if you've got any questions about how I made this wig, how I maintain the curls, anything like that, drop them in the comments and I will definitely respond. And also don't forget to like and comment on my video, because as I said in all the rest of my videos, it really does like help the placing of my videos. And obviously with how much work I put in to create it, it would be nice just to be acknowledged by a little comment or anything like that. So Thank you guys. Bye.